There we go. Look, I've got that one. I've got twisted towards my camera. I've got that one. I've got these ones.
Oh.
And I've got one other. Yeah, I've got one other which I won't show you because it's in a highly personal place.
When people find us on Twitch, they'll love us there.
Hands up, all those people in this stream, right, that didn't have their main microphone on. So it's just me. It's just me then, is it? It's just me being a dickhead. Yeah. I've just realised I didn't have my microphone on. Of course, you can still hear me, but people out in Reddit land couldn't, which is why they've all dropped off like a stone. So.
And I woke up today with a headache. I've had a headache all day, and I think it's like a nerve from my tooth. So not
sounds similar to me. I went fishing and woke up with a havoc.
Oh.
Sorry, there's no place for that on this stream. Could you leave it out, please?
Yeah, I'll pike my lip then.
Oh, God. Oh, we had such a great stream on Saturday night on Twitch. I mean, anybody who wasn't there, you missed out. It was a great stream Saturday night, 4.5 hours, I think it was. Yep. You know, it was a laugh, lots of chat and that. And Micky, who's not normally on Saturday night, joined us. So he made his fans very happy. And so because of all the talking and the laughing and everything, I woke up the next day feeling like I'd been to a party. I had a proper, you know, when you've like talked so much and everything, you wake up the next day and you've got like a talking hangover. Oh. But it was good fun.
What have you been up to this week?
Well, believe it or not, Sunday I actually went to a fete. You know, one of the old style fetes with your hook and duck and your tombola. Actually, I only spent a couple of hours there, but yeah, that was all right. I think Donna won some soap.
Okay.
On the tombola, some soap, yeah. Bit of cake and a cup of tea. Then we went for a stroll up the seafront, as it was a nice day. Sat and had some chips, a bit of gravy. You know how you do.
Oh, sounds great. Sounds fun.
It was, yeah, it was quite pleasant. Then popped round to see my son and my granddaughter for an hour, see how they were getting on. But yeah,
which just goes to show that Lowestoft is such a hive of excitement, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? My life is so full of joy and excitement.
It sounds great. It was
so exciting that today I spent a couple of hours in the garden doing some weeding. I mean, you know, you can't get better than that.
No, you definitely can't. It sounds like you've got it all sorted. You've got it all sorted. I've
knackered now. Me back
to it. I would imagine you would be. I will tell you that I made a discovery. Okay, I've worked out why this generation are so angry.
And that would be why?
Because their music is absolute shit.
Well, yeah, we know that.
Yeah. That's why they're so angry. Don't you agree, Tracy?
Oh yeah. No, just it's rare that I hear a piece of music now that I like. There are some bits, but again, like we've discussed before, will it be even remembered in a year's time?
No.
You know, compared to like the Beatles, Elvis Presley, you know, stuff like that. And like I said, so it's rare that I hear anything that I like. And both of my daughters, I've noticed, are going the same way now. When I went to my eldest's on Thursday, and you know, she got her little baby and everything, and she was trying to get him to sleep, and she had an 1980s compilation going on in the background, and I was like, this is great, you know, because she was born at the tail end of the 80s, so she didn't really get any of the 80s influence. She had 90s, you know, like Spice Girls and things. And I was like, oh, you're playing my music. And she said, oh yeah, the baby loves it. But of course they were enjoying it as well. And so, and I've noticed that my youngest daughter, she plays a lot from the 90s and the early 2000s, obviously like her teenage type years. But none of the so obviously she's growing up now, like growing up as in like her musical tastes are not what's in the charts. But it's rubbish. It's just I can't hear anything that I particularly like. Like I said, I occasionally catch the odd sort of thing, and I think, oh, that's a nice line or a hook or whatever. But the rest of the song's rubbish.
So yeah, well, that's the conclusion that I've made, that music's rubbish. I myself, I went out yesterday. I went out. I went out. I don't know if you saw on Facebook, but I actually went out to Battle Abbey, where the Battle of Hastings happened, a defining moment in British history, where King Harold was killed by Duke William of Normandy, and thus ended Anglo-Saxon England. We became Norman England, and it set us on the path to being the world's greatest empire. So it was actually very much a world-changing event in 1066. And I thought that it was a very profound moment. It's one of two profound moments because having stood, there's a plaque that actually mark where King Harold fell and died. And I just realised after I walked away, well, I didn't walk away, I was in a wheelchair. After I came away from it, I just realised that it's the second time that I've actually been somewhere that's got a very defining moment in it. Because I stood at the point where King Harold had died, and back in 2014, I actually sailed. I was on a cruise liner coming back from the Canaries. I actually sailed. The captain of the ship made a point of telling everybody. We actually sailed over the exact point that the Battle of Trafalgar happened, where Nelson beat Admiral Villeneuve and the Franco-French fleet off of Cadiz, off of Cape Trafalgar, in 1805, which not only cemented the British Empire as the greatest empire that's ever happened, but for the next 100 years ensured that Britain was the mightiest sea power in the world. So nobody could challenge us until the Americans in about the 1920s. So that's just a very profound moment that reminded me of another profound moment. So that's what I was up to yesterday. Just thought I'd mention that.
You said that you were going to go to Sheffield Park, and I wondered how comes you ended up going to Battle.
Right, I'll actually tell you. We actually drove down to Sheffield Park, and as I was on the road to Sheffield Park, about 5 miles outside of Sheffield Park, rain started to hit the windscreen. So I looked at my other half and I said, well, we can take a chance and go around Sheffield Park and Gardens. I mean, when it's raining, or if you like, at the end of this road is Lewis. We go and look at Lewis. She said, well, I've never been to Lewis before. Can we go? Yeah, I said, yeah. So I drove down and drove through Lewis. And then I said, right, when I get out of Lewis, I'm going to turn left and I'm going to head through Eastbourne, along the 259 to Hastings, and then I'm going to turn back to London. We haven't been out for the day. We haven't been out anywhere, but at least it's a nice drive. And it started to rain by then. And as we came out of Eastbourne, she said to me, and offhand, she said, Battle, is that somewhere near Hastings? I said, yeah, it's about 5 miles away. She said, I've never been there. And I said, well, funny enough, nor have I. And I said, I'll tell you what I'll do. When we get to Hastings, instead of taking the A21 straight up to London, I'll go into Battle. So we drove into Battle. And as I got into the centre of the village, the Battle Abbey, which is where King Harold's marker is, the Battle Abbey was actually erected by William the Conqueror 5 years later to atone for the bloodshed at the Battle of Hastings. I noticed it was an English heritage property. Of course, I'm an English heritage member. Free car parking, free entry. So we pulled into the car park, and I got the wheelchair out, and we went in, and we went round Battle Abbey, and that's how that happened. So it's not a place that we'd even thought about going. It's just quite accidental. But as soon as I noticed it was English heritage, I thought, right, let's have a visit, and we did. So that's how we ended up there. Seeing as you asked.
I just wondered because I remember you saying about Sheffield Park, and the funny thing is that considering the amount of times that I've been to Hastings and the time that I've spent in Hastings, I've never actually been into Battle Abbey. We got as far as the car park once, and we pulled up in there, and I can't remember why we didn't go in. It may well have been it was an extremely hot day or something. There was a reason why we didn't go as far as actually going in. But so it's something that it's on things that I want to do. I definitely want to go there, like I said, because I've spent so much time in and around Hastings that it's just one of those things that just seems bizarre that I've not done yet. So just the 33 on Reddit says, I've been watching a lot of Time Team, and I think they visited stroke Doug at Battle of Hastings. Yeah, I think they did. I think that it definitely would have been one of the places that they would have been interested in digging at, because obviously because of the history and the historical implications. And I know you said you think they visited. Do you remember anything about the dig? Did they find bones? Did they find weaponry? I should imagine that there'd be something indoors. Did you go indoors, Steve, when you went there? Did you go like was there any exhibition inside or anything?
Sorry, you caught me out there. When you said let me finish, I'm so used to when a woman says let me finish, I'm so used to clearing my diary for the next year and a half. You caught me out there. Sorry, Tracy. You caught me completely out. Yeah. Yes, there's an exhibition inside. The original Abbey, as I said, William the Conqueror built an abbey in 1094 to atone for all the bloodshed, but that abbey's gone now. That was demolished in the 13th century. The modern abbey, which is there, is built very near the site, and there's an indoor exhibition. Yes, there's indoors exhibitions. There's a shop. There's always a shop with the English heritage.
Oh, there's always a shop.
There's always a shop. And when I come back from taking my other half to work, I'll show you my purchases. Yes, there's an indoor exhibition.
Yeah, no, but my specific question about that was, did you see anything about any archaeological finds?
No. Like I was saying, there's an indoor exhibition, but it's on the top floor, and I can't get up there because there's no lift access. So I don't know. So there could well be an exhibition there. The reason I can't get up there because I'm a wheelchair user, so wheelchairs can't get upstairs. So the parts of the Abbey that are still left have been converted for English heritage use, and upstairs is an exhibition about it all. So no, I didn't see any of that. All I did is I managed to get to the exact spot. There's a stone. If you looked at my photographs, there's a stone that commemorates exactly where Harold was killed. I managed to get to that part, and that was it. And as you walk round, there's little plaques everywhere or posts everywhere that tell you exactly what happened and how the battle went, and it was absolutely fascinating. But no, nothing about archaeological digs, Tracy. I'm sorry. You may continue now. I have spoken.
That was where I was going with that. But as you were talking, it reminded me that the Bayeux Tapestry was on display in Hastings. I can't remember when, but I didn't manage to get. I think it was a few years ago, because I remember at the time it was when my dad was ill and I'd just lost my mum or something, and so I didn't actually manage to get down to Hastings to see it. It was like on loan from wherever they keep it in France, I think.
Bayeux.
I would love to see.
Believe it.
All right, thank you.
I despair at education state, don't you, Micky? The state of education.
Oh, I really do.
I despair at it.
Oh, my parents sent me to a shit school. I'm sorry about that.
There's a reason.
Diabolical parents you've got.
Oh dear.
There's a reason it's called the Bayeux Tapestry.
Yeah, no, but it could have been called the Bayeux Tapestry because it was made in Bayeux. It doesn't necessarily.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's where they're keeping it. So,
Well, in this case, it is.
Yeah. So, right. So they loaned it to Hastings for, I think it was 6 months or a year or something, and I didn't manage to get to see it when it was there, which was disappointing because, you know, life was in the way and things. But never mind. I mean, I'll see it not 1066, 2066.
I was talking to a guy today in a chat in the group, and he said to me, he said, I always warn people. He said at the start of the stream, I always warn people that I've got an eclectic sense of humour, so they might be offended. And I thought about it, and I thought, yeah, I'm going to put a warning up. And when we do it when we go from the 1st of September, I'm going to do a screen. It's got to put a warning up about our stream. But I'm not going to put a warning up about our sense of humour. I'm going to put a warning up that I'm 62 and Micky's 66, and it's highly likely one or both of us will die before the end of the stream.
Oh, dear.
Live on air.
Yeah,
Will we make it through?
Like Tommy Cooper.
yeah, just
that.
like that. Yeah, we'll suddenly be talking, and we'll just, so you know.
Disappear under the
Yeah,
desk.
that's it. Yeah, yeah. Apparently, when you die, you break wind.
Yeah, so I hear.
Yeah, well, of course you hear.
We're not
Yeah,
going to see difference then, are we, Steve? Because you're always doing that. Actually,
Yeah.
Yeah, he must be dead already.
Yeah. It certainly smells like it. We've had the discussion about the skunk.
Steve, I know what it'll be. We'll know that you're dead if you break wind and then don't complain about the smell.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Oh yeah. So that's what I think. That's what I think I have to do. I have to put a warning up saying that either me or Micky, you both of us may not live till the end of the stream.
Oh dear.
And that's what you get for being old. It's like that, though, isn't it, Micky?
Well, it is, yeah. Yeah. I'm just glad to wake up in the morning.
Yeah, that's it. I do. I wake up every morning and think, oh, managed it.
And then for about 5 minutes, I think, oh fuck, what am I going to do today?
I don't sign up for 24-month credit agreements.
No.
No.
Oh dear, oh dear.
No, not me anymore.
No.
Yeah, but then you'd be able to get out of it. Sorry, he's dead.
Yeah. Yeah, but the thing that I bought won't be any good to me, will it? I'll be dead. Oh,
Yeah, but you'll have all the use of it.
yeah, I'll be died use of it, yeah.
You'll have been using it for however long and only paid like a tenner or something. Oh, keep me up, are we? It's all that fresh air yesterday.
Hey?
It's all that fresh air yesterday.
No, it's my illness. I've got cancer, and that's my illness. I mean, I slept for 10 hours and 5 minutes today, and I've had a nap this afternoon for an hour and 45 minutes, and I'm feeling tired again. So that's how it goes. I have good weeks and I have bad weeks. But I did remember to put my teeth in today, which is unusual for me.
Oh my god!
Seriously, that's not my teeth, my false teeth. Look, that is one of the things about getting old that people don't realise that. Yeah, we lose our teeth. Have you got falsies, Micky?
Have I what?
Have you got falsies?
False teeth?
Yeah.
No, I've got piano teeth, mate. One white, one black.
All right, okay, piano
Yeah.
teeth. Yeah.
They're gas. No, I have got them, but I don't wear them.
Okay.
They hurt me mouth. So.
Well, you were saying the other week, Steve, about that you used to have really good teeth, and then the cancer struck, and then, or you know, like the treatment and everything, and then you had to have the teeth pulled out and things. What bugs me is because I always used to have nightmares that my teeth were falling out. I always used to have really good teeth, and I've still got really good teeth. Unfortunately, they just won't stay in my head. Can you see what that is?
You just pulled a tooth out live on stream.
No, I haven't. I pulled it out of. I got. Oh God, you can't see it because it's. Yeah.
Shit, yeah.
What? I've got no fillings, no broken teeth, no caps, no crowns, no falsies. It's just I've got bad gums, and apparently it's hereditary.
So you're no good for a BJ then?
No, I'm better for it.
No. If you can take your teeth out, it's better. Yeah, you hadn't thought of that. You hadn't thought of that.
Yeah, I see what you mean, but I haven't got to that stage yet. Oh,
right, okay.
I'll
go and see Micky then.
Yeah.
But I
like threesomes, you know. I really do.
You like
because disappointing one woman at a time is for amateurs, you know.
You like to disappoint too, yeah.
Disappointing one woman at a time.
I find with a threesome, right? It's actually a bit of a nightmare fighting over who sleeps on the wet spot.
Well, the easy thing is you just don't go to sleep.
Yeah, Tracy, look, you've caused this conversation to descend to the gutter.
What? Because I said that my teeth are falling out.
Yes, exactly. No, me and Micky would never do anything like that. It's only when you're on stream that this happens. Me and Mickey never do anything like that.
Never do anything or say anything like that. I know.
No.
I know.
No.
Yeah, you two are totally innocent, and you've been led astray by the naughty Jezebel.
If you could be bothered to actually watch when me and Steve do our own streams, if you had to be bothered to watch, you'd see that we were polite and very nice gentlemen.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But when you come on, it seems to lower the
It
tone
does.
about
It
five
does.
notches.
It does.
I tell you what, I've had a terrible a dirty sense of humour since I discovered what a dirty sense of humour was, and what can I say? I love it. It's just so funny. It's one of the funniest things. Sex is just hilarious. It's hilarious, and it's like, oh no, I'm not going to lower the tone to farting again.
It's not hilarious. You try farting during sex. It's never appreciated. Hello, Reddit. Hello. Are you all broken your fingers? Honestly, there's 15 people out there on Reddit now, right? That have all got broken fingers. They've all broken the fingers on their hands.
They're gawking at the old people talking about sex and going la la la.
No. You were talking about sex. Let's get it right. You were talking about sex. Me and Mickey were quite innocent.
I was not. You lot brought up blowjobs without teeth.
See, there she goes again, Mickey. Look.
And threesomes. I said nothing about threesomes.
And again, dirty sense of humour, blowjobs and threesomes in the last 30 seconds, and she denies talking about sex.
No, I'm not even going to repeat what Mickey said. I will be accused of saying it.
Saying what?
What, fanny farts?
Yeah.
Fanny farts after sex are hilarious.
Now you started Mickey off. Look. Mickey off.
So what?
You started Mickey off now.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I know. My camera's reversed. Don't worry about it.
No, you were pointing in the right direction. It's just like it was exactly in the right place. So.
All right, yeah. Oh, you see, you're being rude again, aren't you? You're being rude again.
I love being stared at by Reddit while we talk about sex. It's kind of
She's done it. Look, she's done it again, Mickey. Right, she's managed to say let's talk about sex.
Slow as the
I feel like
tone,
a science teacher. You know, like when you were at school and the science teacher tries teaching you about sex education, and the whole class is just like.
We never had that when I was at school.
No.
Back in the 70s, we never had it.
No.
We used to have practicals behind the bike sheds.
Exactly. My sex education was practical.
For yourself.
Yeah.
We didn't have none of this sit in the classroom. This is slipping a condom over a banana. None of that stuff, mate. It was around the bike sheds.
Did what, Mickey?
I said nothing of this in the classroom like they do.
Did you just say slipping a condom over a banana?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, that's what they do in the classroom.
That makes me ask: was it peeled?
I don't know.
It wasn't circumcised then.
Perhaps just the top end was. I don't know. But we never had any of that, so I wouldn't know. But we had our sex education.
Mickey, you've got a fan. You've got a fan.
One of your fans has entered the room.
You got a fan.
Hey, happy Smiley, how are we? Nice to see you this evening.
I mean, I want to know how you put a condom.
You can say hello to the other two as well, you know. Or is it just me you've come to see?
I want to know how you put a condom on a peeled banana.
Do tell us.
Sorry?
I say, Mickey, what's it like having a fan? Do tell us.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Yeah, tell us, Mickey. Tell us all about it. You've got a fan. Tell us all about it.
What's it feel like?
Yeah, what does it feel like?
Steve's got about 3 fans round his feet.
Well, yeah.
Tell us about them.
All right, okay. Well, you've got an admirer, Mickey, so come on, tell us all about it.
Well, it's something novel to me, to be fair. Normally people tell me to shut up and piss off. So
I tell you what, Steve, with your merchandise, you definitely have to do some that say diabolical for his fans, because
I will.
Diabolical and absolutely diabolical for those days when you need an absolutely at the beginning of it.
So come on, Happy, what have you been up to? Come on.
Just to warn you guys, I've got to go out in 10 minutes. As you know,
Yeah.
take my wife.
Well, in that
Right,
case,
just
you better
to
turn
let
me
Micky
off.
know, right? When I say I've got to go, that means I've got to go. That's not hang on a minute.
Right, you better turn me off for 5 minutes then.
Okay. Okay.
While I go and have a little.
Norman
Chuff.
Tebbit in a mankini.
Oh yes, that's exciting.
Anne Widdecombe having her feet massaged.
Oh, even better, eh? Especially licking between the toes.
Right, there you go. Mickey's off. Mickey's gone. Mickey's gone.
Get rid of him. Oh, I'm gonna have nightmares about that tonight. I wish I'd not said anything.
Mickey will be back in a minute. Mickey's gone off to go and have a cigarette. I don't particularly enjoy Mickey smoking on the stream. I don't think it's the impression we want to give. Do you, Tracy?
No, it's no.
Yeah, that's all you can say, isn't it? Really, that's my stand against smoking. I don't object to people smoking. I never have. I just don't think it's done on the stream. Besides, I know that on YouTube, for instance, a lot of advertisers won't advertise on streams where people smoke.
Yeah.
Because it's they've made smoking in 20 years. They've completely turned smoking around from being something that was socially acceptable to being something that if you do it, you're the devil incarnate. Have you noticed?
Yeah. Well, it used to be like a cool thing to do, and also when I was a teenager, smoking was a rebellious thing to do.
Oh.
It was something that the naughty kids did, and you could get like your single cigarettes from the shop and from behind the school and that. So it was another sort of part of rebellion. But the problem is it's so addictive and it shouldn't really be glamorized now. It's Mickey's choice to smoke, but that doesn't. It's kind of like you wouldn't want to stand in a lift with someone smoking. It's a similar concept with switching him off while he's having a smoke. Well, he can enjoy it.
I've got to say, that wouldn't bother me. Somebody stood, in fact, people have stood next to me and smoked. That doesn't really bother me. It's never bothered me since I stopped smoking. I don't know why. It just doesn't bother me.
No, but like other people who it would bother, that they wouldn't want to be in a lift with a smoker. Yeah. Likewise, they wouldn't want to see a smoker online. So if you can switch him off when he's doing it.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to be in a lift with somebody taking a shit.
No, that's true.
That would be antisocial.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be in a lift with somebody masturbating. Unless it was Julia Roberts.
So
then I could possibly make an exception.
A lot of women do have to put up with disgusting behaviour like that, like actually having it forced upon them, and it's incredible. A lot of women do. They're what's the word? It's sexual abuse type thing, but without actually being touched. Getting into a lift with someone who then starts masturbating.
Seriously?
Yeah, honestly, things like this happen. Hello, Harry on YouTube.
Yes, good evening, Harry. Harry Mills-Cocker.
For example, it didn't actually happen that far to me in a lift. But I got in my lift once, and there was a delivery driver, and me and him were the only ones in he was a delivery person. Me and him were the only ones in the lift, and he stood so close to me that he was rubbing his arm against my breast. So I thought, okay, take 2 steps back. And I took 2 steps back and he took 2 steps forward.
Oh.
So he was deliberately rubbing up against me. And then he got out before me. And I was just like, I've just been molested in the fucking lift. But even though there's CCTV in the lift, you wouldn't have been because he didn't actually put his hand out, you wouldn't have been able to see anything happening. Had I realised slightly quicker, well, mind you, I was going to say, had I realised slightly quicker, I could have given him a kick or a punch in the face, but then I don't know what he's going to do to me. So I'd rather just get it over with and then get out. And women, we have to deal with this kind of shit. So I'm saying that women being in the lift where a man exposes himself and starts doing that is nothing new.
Okay. Okay.
I brought the tone down to a much more serious level.
Yeah. No, it's. I must admit, I've never. Well, obviously, this is something outside of my sphere of influence, my circle of influence, because it's something that I've obviously never done and I've never considered doing. I wouldn't dream of doing something like that. I've always
Yeah.
believed that I don't go where I'm not invited.
I had that. I sent you that screen grab today. On Twitter, I sent Steve
Yes.
and Micky
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
screen grab. I said, Micky wants to be switched back on.
Okay. Just give me a
I
second.
said, I did the screen grab and I said, this is what it's like being a woman in 2022. And the screen grab was a conversation that I'd had in my Twitter DMs. And the person had a female picture. Obviously, that doesn't mean anything. It could be a bloke, but I normally don't respond to anybody who says hi or how are you, because that they literally, there is no point. But this one, I thought, it's a female picture. Let's give them the benefit of doubt. And it transpired that it was clearly a bloke, because the next, I said, how can I help you? And they said, send me a picture. So I ignored it, and they came back a bit later saying, what are you doing? And I said, I'm waiting to be paid for the picture you just ordered. And and I said, well, what about all the pictures that are on my profile? And then they said reply, because they obviously were waiting for me to. They just put one word, reply. So I said, fuck off. It's the reply, isn't it? And then I banned them. But that's not an isolated incident. I get this all the time. That I get conversation where somebody who I don't know wants a photo of me. That they don't say explicitly, but that they want anything naked, but they want a photo of me. I've got photos of me and videos of me because of this stream up on Twitter. Well, what's wrong with those? I'm not. I have in the past when they've said send me a photo. I've just picked a random photo off of Google Images, and it's not of a person. It'll just be like of maybe sort of Loch Ness or something. One of my favourite things to do is when they send me a dick pic, and I've got a story about that for later, about dick pics for later. When they send me a dick pic, I send them back a picture or a GIF, a moving GIF of a woman cutting a sausage up.
A woman what?
Cutting a sausage up.
You're not going to share that picture I sent you. Because that would be chipolata chopping, not bloody sausages.
Yeah, it's a strange phenomenon, because my other half occasionally gets dick pics sent to her. I've never had a dick pic sent to me. Harry Fields, have you ever had a dick pic sent to you, or have you ever sent dick pics? What about you, Micky? Have you sent or received them?
Neither. No, I haven't sent or received them. I'm a bit disappointed.
You're not missing anything. Honestly, you're not missing anything.
Bit disappointed I hadn't had boobs flashed all over my bloody DMs, but there you go.
But this is exactly it. See, the one time that you'll get women flashing boobs and things at you, it will usually be a man behind the scenes trying to get you to pay for whatever service they're trying to do.
Yeah.
And people have said, why do blokes do, it's actually cyber flashing. If somebody did it to you in the street, it's just as disturbing, but if somebody did it in the street, it would be a public offence.
Yeah.
And this is what I was going to say was in Texas, it's actually illegal to send dick pics, and you could be fined $500. Now, if
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave you two for now for about 40 minutes. So I'll see you in about 40 minutes. So it's all down to you two for now, all right?
No, that's fine. We've got a topic of conversation going.
And if the viewership goes up while I'm gone, I shall be very disappointed.
It normally does.
Yeah, thank you, Micky. Bye.
That's quite well. Quite welcome.
So so it would be lovely to think that this is not how it works, because obviously the $500 goes to the court system or whatever. It's a fine, goes to the government. But wouldn't it be lovely for that $500 to actually go to the recipient of the dick pic as a kind of compensation? Yeah. And if that was the case, and it was, you know, global, God, think of how much money I would have, and it would so make up for some of the gross specimens that I've had landing in my inbox. I mean, honestly, they're not ones that you would go, yeah, actually, that's a fine specimen. No, they're usually disgusting. And these guys are so proud of them. And it's just like, really? You know, I've seen more meat on a chicken drumstick, for God's sake. So, oh. But yeah, so that was one thing that I'd picked up on today. I mean, bloody hell, I'd probably be a millionaire if the money came, you know, if it was global and the money came straight to the woman. But, and some people say, you know, what's the mentality behind it? And, you know, because so many guys do it. So many guys do it. It's not isolated incidents. And they get, you know, they get their boner and they think that the woman wants to see it, because in the same way, what they would love is that if a woman who was sexually excited sent pics of their bits to them, they'd love it. They'd love it. But women don't do that because it's not a thing that women do. And we can see just how bloody stupid it is. So, anyway, so, we are quiet. Have you got a crib sheet?
I can't understand for the life of me why anybody would want to do that. Send a picture of their chopper to somebody they don't know. Perhaps I'm older, but I just can't understand why somebody want to do that. It's just
a lot.
I think, is it the shock factor it's supposed to be? You know,
no, it is a chat up line for them. Do you want some of this, love? Or the American equivalent.
Well, I'm sure when I met my wife, I didn't flop my cock out in the face and say, hello, my name's Micky.
In the post?
Huh?
Did you say in the post?
No, I said I didn't flop my cock out when I met the missus and said, hello, my name's Micky.
No,
huh?
I just had...
You don't do that, do you?
No, I just had a vision of it being
Right, so at least let her buy me a drink first.
I had a vision of it being pre-internet days and you had to take a photo of it and then post it to her. I didn't flop my cock out in the post. And she opens this letter. It's like, oh, it's lovely, love letter, and this picture falls out of the member.
a Polaroid snap.
Oh my God. But yeah, a lot of them treat it as a chat up line, like, you know. And it's just, well, that just tells me that you are, not you, Micky, obviously, but you who send dick pics, you are a completely unacceptable bed partner at the very least. I'm not going to shag you because you're a flipping weirdo. You know, I want to see the rest of the package that comes with it. I mean, I don't want to. That's not what I want in my inbox either. But you know, like if I'm going to have any kind of sexual relationship with someone, I want to see the full package. Literally the last thing I want to see is what's in the underpants. Literally the last thing. I don't want it to be the first. I want it to be the last thing. You know, something to look forward to. Yeah, I don't understand the mentality really, but you know, it really is a kind of opening line, as in, all right, love, fancy some of this. I actually had one about a week ago, and it was naked ladies' parts, and I can't be too graphic, but basically it was post-sex ladies' parts. Oh. Exactly, and the guy said, "Do you want to be next?" Literally, no hello or anything. It was just this picture. Do you want to be next? And I'm like, no, you've completely put me off my breakfast. Just, it wouldn't have been so bad had there been chat leading up to it, you know, sexy chat leading up to it. But I didn't know who he was. And it was literally that. And do you want to be next? No hi. No hello. No how are you? Just do you want to be next?
No foreplay, no.
No,
Just straight in there, bang. Oh dear.
Exactly. So, I mean, I just wonder I wonder if he ever gets lucky. But maybe he does get lucky, but with the other guys who are actually sending the boob pics. Because it's quite an aggressive not manly, it's not manly. It's like an aggressive sort of testosterone fueled thing to be sending bits and pieces like this. And it's, I was going to say manly, but that's not the right word. Men don't do that. Proper men don't do that. And he doesn't, it makes him feel like really uncomfortable that there are wankers out there.
People out there like that, yeah.
So, have you got a list for today?
When do I ever make lists?
Have you?
But there was one thing that caught my eye today. Argos.
Oh yeah.
People have been moaning about Argos for the fact that on the posters in store, they've been taken down now, but on the posters in store, they say large objects are a 2-man delivery.
Right.
Now, people are moaning it should be 2-person delivery.
Oh, God.
So they've now changed it to 2-person delivery on their website. But I'd like to see, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm all for equality, but if you have a fridge freezer delivered, it's got to be lugged up 4 sets of stairs.
Yeah.
Can you see a woman doing that?
Yeah, yeah.
You know? So, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that they're not capable. What I'm saying is, and people on this thread that I saw, people who work for Argos said it's very rarely that you get a woman that will apply for these jobs. Yeah. Because of the, but I just thought it very strange that somebody would moan about a 2-man delivery. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we know when, well, I know when it says 2-man delivery, it's not saying that they're discounted women. All they're saying is basically it's 2-person, which is what they've changed it to now, 2-person. But it just annoyed me, that was all. Just annoyed me a bit. Yeah, I can see what they're saying though. That it should have been picked up before it went to print and stuff like that. Well, yeah. Because what gets me is people get, and it does say on this, offended. By the fact that they put 2 men instead of saying, I see that you've got, your sign say 2 men. Would it not be better to have 2-person? They email them, say, I'm offended that you've got this poster saying 2 men. Oh, look, we've got even description in 369 on Reddit saying, shut the fuck up. That's it. Thank you. We've got interaction. This is what Steve's been asking for, and he's not even here to see somebody telling us to shut the fuck up. Woo! How are you doing, even description? Are you enjoying? It's absolutely fantastic. I know. You've joined the party. Well, come on then. You want us to shut the fuck up? You tell us what you want us to talk about. Come on. Unless, of course... Sit there hidden behind your screen telling us... see, yeah. Welcome, though. Hello. Welcome. I actually thought what you might be saying, even description, you might have been saying that the people complaining about Argos needs to shut the fuck up. So that would work. Yeah, you're absolutely right. But no, but yeah. But like I say, it's not the fact that it was 2-man that pissed me off. It's about the way they went about trying to solve it. Yeah. The first thing they come, I'm offended that you've got this poster saying, rather than saying, I see that your poster says 2-man delivery, could you not change it to 2-person? The first thing they come out with is, I'm offended. Yeah, see, I wouldn't be offended by seeing something that says 2-man, but no. And it would be nice if language was changed. Yes, because I totally agree. Well, because you said about women don't usually apply for jobs like that, but maybe they're not applying for jobs like that because it seems like a masculine job. Yes. When really it's not.
you know, it should be universal. If you think you can do the job, whatever gender or sex you are,
yeah, any job,
then
yeah.
apply for it, you know.
Yeah.
But it does. I remember when I used to work for Home Base, which anybody who doesn't know, that's DIY chain store.
Yeah.
And I
used to belong to Sainsbury's. I don't know if it still does.
It used to belong to Sainsbury's, and then they broke away. Home Base was sold to another thingy.
Yeah.
I remember it used to belong to Sainsbury's, because when we opened, because I worked there from just before it opened, so I was doing all the when we first walked into the store, it was literally empty. It was just like a big hanger, and we had to fill it. So we spent about 4 weeks, like the shelves would come in one night, so we were filling and filling. I loved that. Brilliant. Anyway, it just appealed to my OCD to get everything in. So when we worked there, when I worked there, literally every single person who worked in the warehouse and the builders bit, which is where you could do wood cutting and stuff like this, every single person was a man, because women weren't applying for them. Women just weren't applying for them. You know, so it was the men that got to use the forklift trucks. It was the men who got to use the, I can't remember what it's called now, but there's like a thing that you push, you do that.
Well, the pump up trucks.
Yeah, exactly. It was the men who was trained on stuff like that, not the women. Where was I? I think that was so that was my point. It was, women weren't applying because it was seen more as a masculine job, whereas women were shop floor and checkout. But now it's changed, you know.
I was going to say, the job that I've just retired from, we had women forklift drivers, we had women what we call electric barrow drivers. I mean.
Hello, Andrew. Thank you. Yes. He says pump truck.
That's it.
I think we're we're about 20 seconds behind on YouTube.
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
I mean, I remember along the same lines. I remember when I think I might have told you this story before. I worked at Woolworths, the manager there was always shouting at me for not wearing tights, and I'd be, well, you know, because the uniform policy was men had to wear shirt, trousers, socks, and women had to wear blouse, skirt, tights. And I'd be like, no, I'm not wearing tights. That's a sexist policy. And he'd go, yes, but it's a Woolworths policy. I said, take me to court then, because it's a sexist policy. And I said to him, I mean, he laughed his bloody head off, because he was like, a man's man, you know, like, and he used to swear at me, but he knew he had no fight. If you see, I had a point. I'd say the policy should be universal, that anybody can wear blouse or shirt, anybody can wear shirt or trousers, and anybody can wear socks. Or because I wore socks, I used to wear socks. I said, and anybody who could wear socks or tights, and he was like, "Fuck off! What bloke would want to wear a skirt and tights?" And I said, "There are some." Because I remember at the time there was I would have called him at the time actually a transvestite, but he may well have been transgender. I can't remember. I mean, I don't know his circumstances, but it was a man, and clearly a man, and he used to wear a skirt. But you know,
plenty of them up in Scotland.
Yeah. Exactly, and if the policy, if the uniform policy is universal, that you can wear blouse or shirt, trousers or and everything, then everybody can wear whatever they want. I wanted to wear trousers, but I wasn't allowed, and I didn't push it that far. I got away with the tight socks instead of tights. But then I made my point. That was in 1999, and so it's not that long ago that we were still being separated and segregated by our clothes. So back to what you were saying. I think it's just the language around it just need to be changed a bit. So if it says 2-person delivery, And if they're talking about persons, delivery persons and things like this, then women might actually apply for these jobs.
Give it a go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that in the last sort of couple of years, it's particularly since the pandemic hit, I've been getting more and more women Tesco delivery drivers. And, you know, I mean, a couple of them, I just wondered how they managed to get all this shopping, you know, because they're heavy things. But they're, you know, if they can do the job, if they're strong enough, they're quick enough, and they can drive safely, then why not? So
Exactly, why not? Yeah.
Are you still there, even description, or have you gone off to tell?
He's gone off to tell somebody else to fuck off, I think.
Oh dear. That's so funny.
Shut the fuck up, I don't know.
Steve's been saying that for weeks to say, and the first time we get it, and he's not even in the room.
He'll be disappointed he's missed out on it.
Yeah. So
I bet your hubby's not looking forward to that drive to.
No. It gives him a bit of anxiety.
Bloody awful drive,
yeah.
especially from down where you are.
Yeah, it's it takes him about 5 hours.
Yeah.
And
on a good day.
yeah. But I mean, the thing is, he's hired a vehicle to anyway, so the drive is better than going by train, because he'd have to be picked up at the other end, and at least hiring a vehicle gives him a bit of freedom to.
See, now I saw. I don't know how I came across it, but I was on YouTube and I actually saw a guy who did the overnighter to Cornwall.
Oh,
I think it costs about 124 quid, but that includes your breakfast.
Was it you?
That leaves about 10 o'clock at night and gets in about 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
But if I was to ever go London to, I think I'd give that a go myself, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds good, but I love travelling.
It's expensive.
I love the travelling bit. I love the sitting there watching the sights go by and seeing how the landscape changes and things. Even if I've not actually been on like an 8 or 10 hour train journey, but if I did, I would want to be awake and most of it. I think I'd like to sleep for the first bit, you know, as you're getting out of London and it's all still relatively flat and nothing really to look at. But as it gets further and further out,
if you take the night train, Trace, you're not going to see a lot in the dark.
That's the problem. That's what I'm saying. So I'd have to go in the day. I'd have to literally have the day, you know, because half of my enjoyment of going somewhere is the travelling. And I love it. I absolutely love navigating for Andrew. I'm better than the sat nav. When I was in the guides, I got my map reading badge, and I've always I mean, I'm not very good at sort of like doing the the OS maps, the ordnance. You know, with all the lines and the gradients. I'm not that
contours. Not gradients, they're contours.
Contours. No, but gradients, as in if it's a mountain, it's got the
the circles get closer together and wider apart. They're contours on a map.
Oh, okay. See? I didn't know that.
You're talking to a military man.
Yeah, of course. No, but that I.
And you can't do your latitudes and longitudes.
Yeah, no. See, I never was taught that, but I know, what they are. I think I can't remember which way is what. But I've always had quite a good sense of direction, even when the sun's in, so it's not like I'm navigating by the sun. I can usually feel whether I'm going north, south, east, or west.
Yeah.
And I can read a map and that get my bearings and things and be able to say, right, you need to do the next left, right, and I'm usually better than the sat nav lady, so I get that corner a bitch has a shut.
Yeah, but the thing is, he can turn the sat nav lady off. He can't turn you off, Tracy.
Oh, I love it though. But usually we force her to, you know, like if there's a bit of traffic and I look at the map and I'm like, okay, if you do this and then this and then everything, and then as soon as you go off of what sat nav lady wants, she's going, go 300 yards or meters or whatever,
and turn round,
do a U-turn and that, and I'm going, fuck off.
I do that. I
was watching one of Jason's videos from a few months ago, and I really liked the way that he was referring to the sat nav lady as it's honourable directions lady or something. It was just the way he was saying it was just so charming, and I thought, oh, I like that. One thing that I saw, it was a program last night. I didn't see the program, and I can't remember what the program was called. It was on Channel 4. And it was basically, the premise was, like, literally they set the premise up with the question, can you furnish your home entirely from second-hand furniture, second-hand stuff? And I just was like, we are scraping the barrel now, aren't we?
Yeah.
Because I remember moving into my first place, or when I first moved in here, everything was second-hand, apart from the paint on the walls.
Well, the only thing we didn't have second-hand when we moved in our first house was a bed, because I refused to sleep in a second-hand bed, you know, mattress and that. So, but that is literally the only thing that we had new.
Yeah.
Everything else was second-hand, so it's very easy. I mean, that was back in the 80s.
Yeah, mine was when I moved here.
It was stuff from charity shops. Yeah. It was stuff from. They had a place called. Bearing in mind, I weren't working at the time. They had a place called Help and Assist, which you could go and pick out, you know, they collected furniture from people who didn't want it, a bit like charity, and you could go around and say, well, I need so and so and so and so.
No, really? Wait a minute. Can you type in Reddit and see if he's joking? Surely.
He is joking. Unless Woody is fucking...
Can you type in Reddit and into Reddit, Micky, and say, are you joking? Because we can't do anything. If he switched us all off, do you know what? I was wondering who that was again. I can hear you absolutely fine, Micky.
Yeah, and I can hear you. But then again, we're going through Skype.
And Andrew can hear us on YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh, for fuck's sake, really?
So I don't know what Steve has done then.
It's just Reddit.
Yeah.
Hold on a minute. Oh.
Andrew can hear us on YouTube.
Oh dear. I'm gonna message Andrew, see.
So we've been waffling on for about half an hour and nobody can hear us.
Yeah, they still might be
winding us
up. So I just asked Andy to check both for us because it may be a wind up. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Can you
hear us on YouTube?
Can you check Reddit for us? Let me see if I can. Right, I'll send him the link.
I'm getting no sound feedback from. I've just turned the volume up on Reddit, and I'm getting nothing coming through on the sound on Reddit.
Oh fuck! He might just have to do a new stream, I guess. So. Oh, we could just sit here. Well, we're getting 14 viewers with.
We've got 21 watchers at the minute.
21 watchers.
Without hearing us. Okay.
Can you type in into, because I'm not logged in on Reddit. I don't have a login. Can you type on Reddit just saying Steve will fix it in about 5 minutes when he's back, or however you want to put that. And while you're doing that, I'm going to the loo because if they can't hear us. Oh, and Andrew's coming back to me now. Oh yeah, Andy, we're being told that Reddit is just not. We're not we haven't got any output onto Reddit, and it's obviously going to YouTube, and Steve will be back in about 5 minutes or so to be able to fix whatever's happened. We don't know what's happened. We've been rabbiting away, and no sound on Reddit. Andrew says.
Okay.
Yeah, Micky wasn't getting any feedback from that either. So, how many have we got on YouTube at the moment? 3. That's me, you, and Andrew. Right, I'm going for a wee. Hold on.
Yeah.
Sorry, Micky, to leave you alone, but
No, that's fine. I mean, I can't talk to anybody because nobody can hear us.
We were all right until Steve left, and then someone came in and said, "Shut the fuck up." But we don't even know if they could hear us, even though we were talking to them. So, because saying sorry said to you mistakenly, that may well have just been them saying sorry about that.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, we'll just have a little sit and a relax. Just got to remember they can still see us. So, I'll just do this. They won't care about the sound.
No.
Or maybe I'll just try and twerk. I know I can't twerk, but maybe I'll just try and twerk. So. I'm not on the wine tonight because, like Steve said, we'll all be bloody alcoholics if that was the case. So.
I'll be honest, I don't drink much now, unless I go out. I don't drink at home. If I go out, I'll have a
I can hear Steve.
Yeah, hopefully. I can hear thumping and banging and
wheezing.
Yeah.
Are you there, Steve? He'll be putting his earpiece in a minute. Are you there, Steve?
Yep, give me a second.
Oh, we've got no sound on Reddit.
I know, you have now.
Oh, okay, thank you.
So we've been waffling on for 40 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
And nobody's been able to hear us.
Okay, so you could have typed.
Nobody told us until literally
Nobody told us
about
about 5 minutes ago.
I told you this about Reddit, didn't I? They do this a lot. If there's a problem, they never let you know.
We had someone come in about 20 minutes ago and say, "Shut the fuck up," which you missed because remember you were always calling out and saying, "Tell us to shut the fuck up." But we didn't even know if they could hear us, and then all of a sudden,
See, it was peaceful.
Leela, it was peaceful.
That's short for bruv, by the way, Micky.
Yeah.
Bruh, yeah.
Yep.
Leela says, "Bruh, it was peaceful," and Gay Jock says, "Unbelievable." I know, completely unbelievable.
I realised when I was about half a mile down the road that I thought, oh shit. What I've done is basically, right, to cut a long story short, all of the audio through my earpiece is routed to Reddit, right? Because I can't route the audio from YouTube to Reddit because of complicated problems. So I've got audio different. But while I was out, I put my earpiece on charge, and of course when it goes on charge, it cuts off.
Excellent. Oh dear.
All right. Okay.
Peaceful.
So all our fantastic conversation.
I know.
Is out the window.
No, it wasn't. It could be heard on YouTube.
Yeah,
well, at least...
but the only person there is Andrew.
Gay Jock says he's still mumbling about something. I know. I know. You can't shut us up.
Meanwhile, guess what?
What?
Cold peas are not.
No.
I knew it.
Oh, beer de jour.
Beer de jour, yeah. Because the Abbey at Battle is right next to a brewery, so of course I had to, didn't I? I bought some wassail. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah.
A wassail. You went a wassail in.
Yeah. He's got this one's got a story. The Old Norse phrase "wassail, good health" was first used as a simple greeting. This was then adopted by the Danish-speaking inhabitants of England, who turned wassail and the replied drink ale into a drinking salutation, wishing health to those around them. The tradition of wassailing varied over the centuries, evolving to be practised on New Year's Eve and Twelfth Night, with people going from house to house with the wassail bowl, wishing good health to neighbours. The house wassailing tradition is still practised today as what we know now as Christmas caroling. So there you go. As you know, I went to Battle Abbey and I bought the beer from Battle Abbey. But that's not all I bought from Battle Abbey.
Oh, what did you buy?
I bought a tankard.
Oh my God!
Don't call me that out of bed. I'm
You're gonna drink your beer out of that tonight.
going to drink my beer out of this tankard.
Yes.
Yes. Look, I'm going to pour it and I'm going to drink it.
What are the do you know what the shields are on it?
Yes, they represent. Yes, I do. And if you bear with me for a second while I'm just pouring this beer, I will tell you about them.
Leila3 on Reddit says you guys live in London. I live in London. Steve lives in London, but the guy who should be there but isn't yet, he's from no, not Somerset, the other one, Suffolk, which is
Suffolk,
east
Lowestoft.
Yeah, which is East England.
Right. In 1065, the King of England in 1046, the King of England was Edward the Confessor, whose father was Ethelred the Unready, who was crowned, and Edward the Confessor was King of England, and he died in January 1066. Well, when he died, there wasn't actually a clear succession to the throne. Harold Godwinson, who we know as King Harold, was his brother-in-law, I believe, but also Harold's brother, Tostig Godwinson, also had a claim to the throne, as did King Harold, spelt the Danish way, Harald, of Denmark, as well as William, Duke of Normandy. These all had claims on the English throne after the death of Edward the Confessor. So these shields are Edward. I don't know which one's which. I'll have to look it up. You've got Edward the Confessor's shield, William, Duke of Normandy, Harold of Denmark, Harold Godwinson, which is King Harold, and Tostig Godwinson.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Well, I'll continue with the history lesson, right? Since I've started it. The Battle of Hastings, which is fought at Battle Abbey, which is where I was on Sunday. We lost that, and it changed the course of world history. But it was a set of weird circumstances that came about to us actually losing that battle. In theory, we should have won it. Like I said, Edward the Confessor died, and the people who elected kings in those days elected Harold Godwinson, as we know as King Harold, as the King of England. But he had to deal with claims from his brother, King Harold of Denmark, and William, Duke of Normandy, with his brother, Tostig, and King Harold of Denmark, the Viking King Harold, of Denmark, Denmark. They got together in Orkney, and they decided to attack Harold and try and seize the throne from him. They did this in August 1066. Have you got a condom on that banana, Micky?
I've just peeled it back.
Okay. I bet you say that. I bet you say that to all the boys. So anyway, Tostig and Harold got together and they invaded England, very near to Holy Island, Tracy.
Oh.
And they started marching towards London. Well, Harold had heard about this, and King Harold had heard about this and started marching towards York. Meanwhile, Harold and Tostig actually captured York. And while they were coming away from York, across the River Derwent, it's called Stamford Bridge, not the Chelsea football ground, but it's called Stamford Bridge, although architecturally there's never been any rains of the bridge. King Harold's English army actually caught King Harold the Dane's army napping, and they annihilated them. So King Harold won the Battle of Stamford Bridge, which is probably the battle that turned the tide of the Danish and the Viking invasions of the UK, because we were never really invaded after that. because King Harold literally annihilated them. And one of the things that he said was, he actually approached, before the battle, he actually approached Harold and Tosford, and King Harold of Denmark said, "How much of Britain are you going to give me if we don't fight?" And Harold actually said, "You can have 7 feet of it because you're taller than everybody else," meaning 7 feet of it as in his grave.
Ah,
And
yeah.
King Harold actually annihilated him. Then they're up. This is in August, right? Or September, I forget now. And then he turned around with his army and he marched back towards London, but he left 1/3 of his army there to guard York just in case the Vikings came back. So 2/3 of his army marched towards London. On the march towards London, he heard that Duke William of Normandy had landed in the UK at Pevensey Bay, which is right next to Hastings, to try and seize the English throne. And he just fought this massive battle at Stamford Bridge. So he marched 2/3 of his army into London, rested up for a week, then marched out to go and meet King Harold or Duke William of Normandy. And they finally met, engaged, after about 10 days after the Battle of Stamford Bridge. They were marching at the rate of 23 miles a day to get there, which is a phenomenal rate of march. So by the time Harold's army has got there, they were pretty worn out anyway. So he got as far as battle. It wasn't called battle then. It was called something else. And the two armies met. Yeah, Layla, I'll comment on London bus drivers in a minute. I'll just finish this story. We're nearly there. So they met, and Harold had the high ground at the top of the hill, and William had the low ground. And normally, when you've got the high ground, you win. So William attacked first, and Harold had a shield wall, something we'd learned off of the Vikings, and the Normans couldn't penetrate the shield wall, so they retreated. When they retreated, some of the English broke free from the shield wall and chased the Normans. William spotted this, and William's a very good tactician. He spotted this, and so what he did is he launched 4 attacks at the English shield wall as feints. They weren't actually attacks, they were feints. And what he would do is just approach the shield wall and then suddenly turn and run. Well, people behind the shield wall, in their enthusiasm, would then chase him down the hill. The Norman cavalry would then come along and annihilate them. He did that 4 times, eventually weakening the shield wall and attacking with his cavalry and getting behind the shield wall and killing Harold, which ended the battle. So it was a series of coincidences. If the Vikings hadn't invaded 3 weeks previously, Harold would still be king because he would have had his full army at battle. If he hadn't have had to march his army, if he hadn't fought the Battle of Stamford Bridge, we'd still be an Anglo-Saxon nation. If he hadn't have left 1/3 of his army up at York to guard it, we would have beaten Duke William. If he hadn't have marched his army 23 miles a day, which is unheard of, we would have beaten Duke William. And lastly, if the English had stuck to the tactics of staying behind the shield wall like they should have done, we'd have beaten Duke William. And it's just a whole set of coincidences. So there we go. That is the story of the Battle of Hastings. And I knew all this before I went up there yesterday, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't know how fascinated you are by that.
No, I like a bit. I was going to say I like a bit of British history. I like a lot of British history.
I broke the world record for the world's fastest talker in 90. I can't remember exactly when. It was either 19. You have to look in the Guinness Book of Records. It was either 1990 or 1991, and I really am the world's fastest talker. It's a world record I've held since then. But I don't do it that much now.
Anyway, Leela wants you to talk about London bus drivers, something I know absolutely jack shit about.
I know jack shit about London bus drivers. How about you, Tracy?
It depends on they say comment on London bus drivers. I think it's probably quite a demanding, monotonous job. And do you know what? At the end, if I was a bus driver at the end of the day, having heard the bell ringing so many times, I'd be going to sleep hearing that bell ringing. Quite a demanding job. They have to, not only do they have to drive, but they have to deal with the public as well, which was the big shame when we lost the conductors on buses, because at least the driver could just concentrate on driving, whereas now they have to deal with the general public as well. Sorry, they had to concentrate on driving, and the conductor would be walking around on the bus and looking after the public, whereas now there are no conductors, and the drivers have to do the customer service at the same time. So generally I find them okay. You do get the odd rude one. You get the ones that see you coming up to the bus stop and they put their foot down and speed off. But generally they, 95% of them are doing a good job.
I used to be a bus driver in the 1980s. I did that for a little while, but I got sick and fed up with school children.
I'm not surprised.
They just got on my tits and I gave it up. So I've still got bus driver category on my licence. It's now called PCV. It was then called PSV. No, it's now called PSV. It was then called PCV. But I've still got the category on my driving licence from when I was, which is in here somewhere. Oh, there we go. Look, there you go. Back on my driving licence.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, there you go.
Did you were you on a conductorless bus?
No, single operator bus.
Yeah, see,
single
that's what I mean.
Buses,
You wouldn't have had to have dealt with the children if you were just a driver and the conductor.
No, well, in the old route masters, the drivers was isolated from the drivers were isolated from the
and then
passengers.
But even then, when we had the newer buses, when we had conductors, but the conductors just were phased out because don't need the conductor if the bus driver has got access to the public. And I'll just
absolutely.
What do you think about the English Empire being the largest empire?
British. Yeah,
well, they've put English being the largest empire in terms of land mass in the history of the planet.
It's something I'm actually proud of, to be honest. I've been very proud of the fact that we actually had the largest empire in the world, and it's probably the world's last empire as well. And it's something that we can say we did that, and that was actually the Battle of Hastings, which you're just talking about in 1066. Actually set England or Britain on the path to becoming the world's greatest empire. We cemented that. Harold we'll talk about land acquisition. That wasn't how land acquisition worked, by the way. What basically happened with the 1066 there, after William became the king, he pretty much got rid of all the English nobles, either through natural wastage and dying, replacing them with Norman nobles, or just replacing them with Norman nobles, and then gradually gave their land outs to the people who supported him in war. That's how the acquisition of land happens. It doesn't happen directly through war. So that's that. But yeah, the Battle of Hastings actually transformed the United Kingdom of Britain, because prior to 1066 we were still Anglo-Saxon. We were very, very introspect. We had no ambitions outside of our own island, so we were very much an island nation. We had no world ambitions at all. Once the Normans came in, we very much had world ambitions, and it wasn't before too long, I think about 15, I can't remember exactly, in the 1500s somewhere, that his great-great-great-granddaughter, Elizabeth I, ascended to the throne. Well, of course, Elizabeth I was the exact opposite to previous Anglo-Saxon kings. She wanted to reach out to the rest of the world, and she did. And the rest of the world came and knocked on our door rather nastily, especially the Spanish, who hated us, who sent an armada to defeat us. And her main military man was Sir Francis Drake, who actually defeated the Spanish armada. And that started us off as the British Empire. And from there it just grew and grew. And then in 1805, just off of Cadiz in Spain, Admiral Lord Nelson destroyed the fleet of the French Admiral Villeneuve in the Battle of Trafalgar which then cemented the empire and cemented Britain's place as the world's greatest sea power for the next 120 years until the Americans eventually caught up and passed us. So that's what I think about the British Empire. And
And Micky?
Sorry?
I was going to say, and Micky? Not what you think about Micky. I was going to get Micky's reaction.
Okay.
To what? To empire building. Yeah. It's what it was in its day, to be fair, but we're now starting to reap the consequences of it, aren't we? With people wanting reparations. Reparations for what? I don't know. I mean, I wasn't around. It wasn't me that went knocking on the door and saying, I'm coming in.
I'll tell you what. I'm not going to apologise. There's this thing where people want people to apologise
for it because
it happened before my time. Yeah.
Exactly that. Yeah. So Look.
And it was just one of the things of this world. And the Battle of Hastings was actually set England on the path to becoming the world's greatest empire. So, and it's given how the world works nowadays, probably the last empire the world will ever know.
Somebody wants to know if we believe in UFOs.
Well, what sort of question is that?
Well, I mean,
what sort of question is that?
Well, I don't know. I mean, anything that you see in the sky that you can't identify a plane is a UFO.
Yep.
It doesn't mean to say it's come out from outer space.
Yep. And so in an actual fact, I believe in UFOs because
you guys didn't watch Reddit, did you? You're not watching Reddit, are you?
I am.
Oh, okay.
What? Well, that's what you said on Reddit. Do you believe in UFOs?
Yeah. Never mind.
Oh, look, there he is. Look. Huh? That looks like a sombrero on your head, mate.
And right, where are we? UFO is an unidentified flying object. It's
yeah, but it could be anything.
Yeah, it could be anything that's not been identified.
Or other extraterrestrial out there. So yeah, believe in UFO because it's unidentified flying objects, but actually believing other extraterrestrials out there. Yeah, there's got to be. There's got to be other beings out there. We cannot be
arrogant.
Yeah.
It'd be arrogant of us to think that we are. When you think of the millions of stars up there, it would be arrogant of us to think that we'll be the only planet with any form of life. I'm not saying life like us.
No, exactly.
Not necessarily, but some form of life. It'd be arrogant of us to think that we were the only people amongst those millions of stars.
Billions of planets out there that are hosting life. I don't believe that any of them particularly want to come and find us to beat us up and take over the planet. Why would they want to?
Oh, come on, look. The aliens land here. Look, they get put in a hotel room given bloody dole money.
And then, sorry, carrying on the extraterrestrial thing, What's Up Grandma says, I know you guys already know this, but I went on a big knowledge binge of the current royal family, and I learned that Lizzie is the longest living monarch of all time, and she's most likely an alien. Somebody's been watching David Icke.
Yeah, that's another nut job.
I don't. We're all aliens. I don't believe that Queen Elizabeth is a completely different type of alien. So, but also she invented a breed of dog, and I love her. So,
and then, Gay Jocks, what do you guys think is the future of the world? Would it be multicultural? Well, I'm hoping it would be. Yeah, I mean, to me, it doesn't matter to me what colour you are, where you come from, what your background, what your religion. I mean, my views on religion are, well, I don't believe in any religion, but yeah, I would hope that we were multicultural. God, I ain't got my teeth in, but I can't even say the word tonight.
I'd like it to be multicultural. I think the problem that we have quite a bit in Britain and probably a lot of places in the world is that, and it's two-way, I'm not just talking about incomers, I'm talking about outgoers as well, is that people stick to their own, but there's no sort of, they don't sort of make the effort to integrate, or for some reason they're not integrating it. And I'm talking as well about people who go and live in Spain from Britain, or France, but they stay in their own little enclave of British people. Really, if you're going to live in another country, really you need to sort of assimilate and hold on to your own cultures,
hold on to your
backgrounds.
own culture and beliefs, but do try and integrate with the country,
Yeah.
what I call the host country.
Yeah, learn the language, eat the food, wear the clothes. You know, so.
Yeah.
I've got a slightly different view. Because who was it? Somebody said, "Can you all chip in?" Yeah, Gay Jock said, "Can we all chip in?" I've got a slightly different view. Back in 1991, when I first got on the internet, I expected this global village thing to really happen. And I expected the internet to bring people together. And I honestly expected it to stop wars and to
Oh,
advance science because people could communicate in real times. Um, really communicate in real times. And I'm quite disappointed that that's never happened. Because if it had happened, we'd have integrated as a world completely. As a society, I was born a London Cockney. I was born in the East End of London. Um, and that is, I've known nothing but multicultural society. In fact, where I was born in London has now become, it's changed completely. Where I was born in London was white British. It's now British Asian. It's got the biggest mosque in the country, almost on top of the place where I was born. So the place has completely changed in 60 years. And in those 60 years, I've grown up with that multiculturalism. I was at school with children from all different cultures. I've never known anything else but multiculturalism, so I don't give it any thought. People are people to me. We all bleed red. We're all the same inside. So that's how I see it.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of others share the same view. Let's have a look at the thing. Are you apprehensive towards or welcoming aliens? Well, are you talking about aliens from outer space or illegal aliens? Illegal aliens, that's a different conversation we can have if you want to. Aliens from outer space, I'm quite welcoming. I don't subscribe from this we come in peace, shoot to kill Star Trek mentality. I honestly think if aliens are going to cross the vast expanse of space to come and say hello to us, they're not going to start killing us en masse. I don't think they're going to do that. So I think they'd be very welcoming. And I'm 62 now, and I've got more years behind me than I've got in front of me. And there is one thing I'd like to see in my lifetime. One thing I'd like to see in my lifetime is I would like to see us prove that there is life outside of this planet, contact beings from another planet. I would love to see that. I'm sure it will happen in my grandchildren's lifetime. I'm sure it will happen, but not in my lifetime. I don't think. I'd like to hope so. I think that's my only wish now, my last and final wish. So I'd be quite welcoming. But if we're talking about illegal aliens, that's a different subject. Micky, your thoughts on aliens?
I think they're pretty similar to yours there, Steve, because I don't think that they come all this way just to destroy us. I think if they would be nothing like us, but there'll be inquisitive minds coming to see what sort of life forms are out there. It's the same as us at the minute, pushing probes out into the space, really, isn't it? To find, we're not going out there to find something to destroy it. We're just going out there to find if something else does exist in there, out there. And I believe that they'll be doing exactly the same towards us. So, I'd be welcoming to them.
Can I just interrupt before Tracy does it?
Won't be a little man in a free bloody, like, War of the Worlds, come along, take me to your leader and start bloody blowing the shit out of you. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Just to mention before Tracy, hang on.
Yeah, no, I agree. So you don't have to bother. I totally agree with you guys. So
I'm just going to say, illegal aliens are undocumented immigrants coming in across the channel. That's what illegal aliens are, as opposed to aliens from outer space. Go on, Tracy.
Yes.
Oh yeah, no, I've got nothing to add because I agree with the pair of you.
Okay.
We send out probes and stuff like that. The one thing that pisses me off about space, which is nothing to do with aliens, is the amount of junk we leave out there, and I think that is so presumptuous on our part that we're allowed to make a load of mess in space, and that's what pisses me off. But I don't think I'm exactly the same as you two. I don't think they'd be coming here to eat us or knock us out. And likewise, that's not why we're looking for other worlds with beings on. So,
okay. Do you guys have tattoos? What's your view of somebody's name as a tattoo? I have tattoos. There we go. Look, I've got that one. I've got twisted towards my camera. I've got that one. I've got these ones.
oh,
And I've got one other. Yeah, I've got one other which I won't show you because it's in a highly personal place. Micky, you've got tattoos?
No.
Yes, you have. You liar.
I was just imagining them then the other day.
Yeah, what those? Oh, I can't bloody. Yes, I've got them. Just one or two.
And the legs.
On my legs, yeah, and my back, yeah. But as for names, the only names I've got is my wife, my children, and my grandchildren. I know people say, well, you shouldn't put a female's name on, but I've been with my wife 38 years, so I think, you know, that was a good investment. So, yeah, all I've got, my wife's name. Oh, and sorry, and on this arm, I have one of my sister's names. At the age of 18, she died in a house fire along with one of my nephews. So I had that done specifically for her, and yes, I have got her name on that. So,
Tracy,
yes,
tattoos?
Yeah, I haven't got any tattoos yet, and I've been promising myself one for about 30 years.
You little liar! You showed us that butterfly on your bum the other week.
It was a moth. It was trying to scare.
Oh, sorry.
Let's not go there, right? I may be wrong. Humans or other species of Earth tourism are animalistic. If we encounter aliens or Earth space, our first instinct will be to destroy them if they were harmful. Well, that's something that is debatable because we may have already encountered them. How do diseases like AIDS and COVID and swine flu and the Black Plague and the bubonic plague, how do they actually just suddenly appear? This is a question that I've often asked myself. They say they jump from species, but where do they originate from? Where did bubonic plague come from? Could it have been brought here by microorganisms from other planets travelling on meteorites and asteroids? That is a question. Would we destroy them? That is a question. The question is, I think they've probably been here, and they've probably been here for a millennium, carried in on meteorites and asteroids. What do you think, Tracy?
Yeah, I like that theory because I mean that's a theory of how we got here. That we were carried in. Well, not we humans, but life on Earth was carried in by microscopic particles of water on comets and stuff like that. In that was microbes of life on Earth. So yeah. It's quite possible that that diseases are aliens or alien made or whatever. So, but not necessarily not sent out to hurt us. Just that there's alien life hurtling around on bits of natural space junk like asteroids and comets and things, and just we were in the way of the trajectory.
Micky.
So, yeah.
I don't know, mate. I've never had a micro-orgasm, so I don't really know.
Your
what
wife
to say
says you had
it.
lots, actually.
So, no, yeah, but I think, being serious, yeah, I think...
She says she's forgotten what a proper orgasm's like.
Yeah, she's probably never had one in 38 years.
Well, she has, yeah, but you weren't there. I was.
But as for the question... yes, I think you're probably right. The only issue I have is that as the meteorites come to Earth, they tend to burn up. So how do these organisms, I'll get it right in a bit. How do they survive the heat unless they're actually inside the rock?
I don't know. It's just a theory. You just have to wonder.
But yeah, I can understand it.
Can you really?
Yeah.
Who's just walked past?
Yeah. That was my wife.
All right. Has she walked out because I'm letting out your secrets?
No, she's gone outside for a smoke.
All right, okay.
She'll be going to bed in a minute. Look, 10 o'clock. Yeah.
Right, okay. Okay, changing the subject there. Gage says old people are the worst. Old people are the worst for what? I think they're the worst for dying.
Yeah.
What's up, Grandma says old people are the worst at being young people. Prove me wrong. No, I'm not going to prove you wrong. We don't want to be young, but I don't want to be young. Do you want to be a young person?
I don't want to be young anymore.
No.
I don't want to be young anymore. No.
Tracy?
It was far better to be young in our day than it is to be young now. Thank you.
I want to know what What's Up Grandma thinks that we're doing that seems to be young, because I've been on the internet since 1996. And I've been having a laugh with my friends since I was a kid. And
you have friends?
Yeah, I know, it's amazing, isn't it? I haven't talked their ear rolls off, but I don't understand what it is that we're doing specifically, unless of course they're talking generally, like old people are the worst at being young people, and we've got to. I'm not here to prove anything. I'm just being me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Micky?
We don't have to pretend anything anymore. We've been there. We've done that. We've got the T-shirt.
We do piss ourselves more often than young people.
Well, there is that. Yeah. We do have leakages now and again.
I don't. Yet.
You've been doing the pelvic floor exercise there with Trace.
I haven't got that far yet.
But yeah, we've got nothing to prove. I mean, people take us or leave us. You know, we don't care anymore. We got to the age now that we really don't care anymore. We are what we are. Yeah. Take it or leave it.
I don't even attempt to try and be young. What was the internet like? What was the internet like in the early days of its existence? Oh my God! It was so slow. You've never experienced agony like listening to a 2400 baud modem dial up your internet provider and connect.
Let's get earache off the missus because she wanted to phone her mother and I was on the computer. The old dial-up days.
And also, web pages weren't full of graphics and things, so you get like a white page with lots of text and maybe a photograph, and you would just like scroll it like it was just one never-ending page of paper. It wasn't interactive like it is now, and the most interaction that you get is that you'd have to go to a message board and put a message on there, and then wait for somebody to see that message. And it
could be days.
It could be days. But it was groundbreaking and fun, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, I mean it was fun being able to speak to anybody in the world and that, and I mean I totally enjoyed it, but I do remember the modem, and on a bad day, if somebody phoned you, it would drop your connection, so like your connection would drop, and you'd be like, I think someone tried to phone me. So and it would time out as well. You'd only get, with certain providers, you'd only get like 2 hours at a time. So you'd be on there for 2 hours, and then the line would drop, and then you'd have to redial modem, which meant that if you had a particularly big file or picture or something that you were trying to download or receive, it could be 6, 7, 8 hours. And if you didn't have an ISDN line that did it faster, you'd be buggered.
I'm gonna see what Fam has said there. That is your name Welsh, by the way, Fam? Just out of curiosity. But seeing what Fam said there, no, the Wild West of the internet actually started in about 2012, when things like Squarespace, MySpace, and Facebook came along. In 2012, when ASDL, asynchronous dial-up lines, became more popular, that's when the internet became like the Wild West, which was totally and utterly lawless. I mean, the early days of the internet, people did behave themselves, but it was about 2010, 2012, the internet started to become totally lawless. And it is still, to this day, were living that legacy. However, the legacy of that is that everybody is starting to crack down. Like Twitch and YouTube are so hot on copyright theft and things like that. It's unbelievable. The only reason I asked, fam, is my wife is Welsh, so I see a lot of Welsh. Well, she's not my wife, she's my partner, but she's Welsh. So I see a lot of Welsh names, and your name struck me as Welsh. So I think we're actually living right now in the Wild West days of the internet. However, we are at the stage now where the Wild West is coming to an end because we proved that we cannot be trusted. So government have had to step in and legislate, and they will carry on legislating for the next few years until the internet is a safe space for many people. But it's because we proved that we cannot be trusted. I don't know what you guys think, Tracy, Micky.
Yeah, just take all the men off the internet. That would be fine.
Yeah.
I only say
you
that.
always go on Mum's net, Tracy.
Oh God, no. No. Jesus, from one extreme to the other. I think I'd rather have a dick pic than Mum's net. God, no. No, I say that tongue in cheek. Only because it's going back to the conversation from earlier that the people that I've mainly had a problem. Well, no, it's not so much of a problem. But I was going to say the people I've mainly have a problem with have been men, but it's not so much of a problem because you know where the block button is and they're generally harmless. I'm not talking about stalkers and trolls. I'm just saying when you get pictures and things, unwanted pictures, you can just delete them and block them and that's it, that's gone. Stalkers and trolls are completely different, where you know you'll get targeted and they'll find you and everything like this. So yeah, no, are you saying about the lawlessness and everything of the internet? We were saying earlier that it was supposed to, you know, it should have been a worldwide community, bring us all together. But what's actually happened is that we're more separated than ever because of the internet, because people can be horribly horrible and anonymous, or so they think. So it can bring out the worst in people, and then you go to sites that even Twitter can bring out the worst in the worst people.
I watched the other day. If one of you's running Bean, I watched an episode of Starsky and Hutch. Do you remember Starsky and Hutch? From the from the 70s, right? I watched on one of these old TV channels on satellite, one of these nostalgia channels. I actually watched a complete episode of Starsky and Hutch. You know, Paul Michael Glaser and David Soul, and from the murder being committed to the arrest being made to the court case to the guilty verdict to the guy being put in prison, there wasn't a single cell phone in sight. And when Starsky and Hutch had to call the police station, they had to find a phone box and do it from a phone box. Can you just? That's old people's perspective. How much life has changed.
Yeah. Yeah, and have you noticed that they never?
You remember the old blue police phone boxes, Steve?
Sorry, Micky?
Hey, I said, do you remember the old blue police phone boxes?
I do, because we still have them in London occasionally. They're kept for nostalgia value. Nostalgia value.
Nostalgia, yeah, same with the red phone boxes. Yeah.
No, the red phone boxes. They're down in Sussex, where I was yesterday. There, quite a lot of the villages have a phone box still in working condition. There was one outside. There was one outside Battle Abbey, which was in working condition. And I made the mistake of opening the door, and it reminded me of how phone boxes were in the 1970s. It stunk of piss and cigarette smoke.
Piss. Yeah.
But that's old people's life. I'll give you another view of old people's life. In England, in Britain, the press last week was sending scare stories around that we might have power cuts and blackouts in the winter. Well, back in 1972, I think, we did have blackouts and power cuts. Now, I was a child then. I was only about 12, and Micky would only be about 16. But they never really bothered me as a child, because all I'd do is I'd read a book by candlelight, because all I'd be doing prior to the power cut was reading a book or or listening to some music on the record player.
Well, let's face it, Steve. We were out till it got
We
dark.
actually
Anyway,
got dark as well. Yeah. So
you know, that's when you knew it was time to come home, when it got dark.
Yeah. Unless you lived in
the
Brixton, then it got dark at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So the
Yeah, we've had them. We've had them. I think that, if I remember rightly, they were on a rota system, so you always knew when it was going to
they
go
were
off.
advertised in the press in advance.
Yeah.
But the point I'm trying to make is, look at today's children. Okay, we cope because it was quite simple, because we didn't have all of the reliance on electric gadgets. Imagine a child today in a power cut. No Xbox, no PlayStation, no cell phone, no iPad, no iPhone, no Wi-Fi. How will they
Black and white
cope?
telly in the corner.
How will they cope?
3 channels and a black and white telly, wasn't it?
Yeah. So how will they cope in a power cut? You give them a book and they'll say, "What's that?" Or I know, let's play a game of Monopoly. What? How do you play that on the computer? No, it's not on the computer. You actually proper. Well, you know, today's children will not be able to cope.
Yeah.
What was good about the old days is I could have sex and massive erections. That was good. That was good about
you ever having a massive erection, Steve?
Hey?
I said I can't imagine you ever having a massive
I'm
erection.
sort of glad, Micky.
I'm trying not to imagine him having.
I'm glad you can't think about me and erection.
Considering you told us you've got a microphallus.
Yeah.
How can you have?
Well, you can have massive erections when you're a microphallus. They're just not as massive as other people's. But you know, it would be rock hard and it would point skywards. That's what I miss about the old days.
Oh, Gordon Bennett.
You could hang a towel on it, but nowadays, you know, you put a towel on it, it just fall off.
Slide off.
Yeah, straight off. Slide straight off. Yeah. That's what I miss about the old days. You could have a real rock hard throbbing erection.
Oh, dear.
You're going to miss being able to speak like this when we're Twitch only.
You can say erection on Twitch.
No, but rock hard massive erections. I think that we're leading into pornography there.
I'm talking about buildings. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I'm talking about the Post Office Tower and the NatWest Tower. What are you talking about? What was my childhood like after school? Most of the time, trying to get laid during the power cuts. I
mean, after school, I had a paper round after school actually, but only on a Friday when the local rag came out. So, but I mean, you'd go. I mean, we'd go home. We'd have to get changed out of our school clothes into what they called our play clothes, and then you'd be out. You'd have your tea, and then you'd be out till it got dark. Once it was dark, in you come.
I didn't have any of that. My parents were slightly strange, but I loved my primary school, but my secondary school I absolutely hated. And the best thing about secondary school, high school, was break time, lunchtime, and going home time. I hated school, and when I went home from school, we had to do. They said that school said it was supposed to be 20 minutes per subject of homework for each subject, and we'd have no more than 3 subjects to do. Always used to take me 3 or 4 hours to do. It wasn't because I was thick, it's just because I reckon that I've always had ADD or ADHD. I just couldn't concentrate. There was much more interesting things to be doing than sitting.
I never, ever, ever did any homework. None.
Yeah,
I was always in trouble for it, but never. And my philosophy was, I come to school for you to teach me. When I go home, that's my time.
Yeah. Oh, I got to the point where
that's from as far back as I can remember. As little, I think 11 when I started secondary school. They give us this homework. No, I never ever did it. I got caned by the headmaster. I got suspended from school. I got this and the other. But I never did a stitch. Why should I? Then I am there at that school for them to teach me. Not on my own time, thank you very much.
Yeah, no, I got to the point where I just wasn't doing homework, and then I got to the point where I wasn't going to school at all. I bunked pretty much my entire last year. Because there was much more interesting things to be doing. I couldn't wait till, I mean, I don't know why, but I couldn't wait till I was old enough to get a job. But I mean, I did enjoy, the thing about the job was being able to earn money and have independence. My parents never gave any of us pocket money or an allowance or anything. So it was just so nice to be able to earn my money and spend it on what I wanted. You know, I could, it was the freedom. I just hated secondary school. And so Flam says, was there anything you wouldn't miss? Yeah, secondary school.
Unlucky Soul said, was life better in the old days?
No.
Music was.
In some respects, it was.
Music
in
was.
that we didn't have all the stresses that are put on people these days. But these days, you've got a lot more things to help you, i.e. computers. I mean, I was at school, we didn't even have a calculator. There was no such thing as calculators at school. It wasn't till I was in about the 4th year that calculators were a thing, and you weren't allowed to use them in school.
Weren't allowed to use them. You can use calculators in exams now.
So things are easier now, in some respects, but I think I miss the innocence of my youth, where you would just go out and do what you want, and you didn't have all this pressure of internet and 99 million and mobile phones when people could get hold of you at any time. Once we went out, we were out, and that was it. You know what time to be home, and God help you if it was late.
Yeah.
If you give any lip to anybody, they give you a smack round the lug. And when you got home, you got another one, because everybody knew everybody else. Now, I mean, I know my 2 immediate neighbours, but people from sort of 6, 7, 8 houses down, I don't know them. You could leave your doors open and without any, I'm sounding like a old twat now, but you leave your doors open, nobody would come in. Or if they did, it would be to leave you something rather than take something. I mean, obviously you lot in London might be a bit different, but yeah, so... Yeah, life was easier then than it is now, I think.
Diabolical.
There's so much pressure on people now.
Diabolical.
Sorry, what?
It's gone. Diabolical.
Mm.
It's absolutely diabolical these days.
Flam says, I do remember my father telling me about how he was caned and such when he was in school. They had this one teacher who had no arms, and so whenever he was angry, he would use his feet to throw the blackboard eraser at the heads of the kids, which of course was a block of wood. Now, when I started...
I've got a scar on my head from a blackboard rubber.
When I started secondary school, even when I started primary school, corporal punishment wasn't allowed anymore. When I started my secondary school, there were still some old school teachers there, and one of them was I think he was a geography teacher, and he was just like that. He would throw the blackboard rubber. He'd get in terrible trouble now doing it, but he would. And do you remember, like, they would be doing that, cleaning the blackboard, and then they would turn and throw it like in one movement. Yeah. And he used to do that, and we got our own back on him by putting super glue on his chair, and also we used to glue things to the underside of his desk. So he'd like find his pens and books and things stuck to the underside of his desk.
If you were to raise the child in social media age, what precautions would you take? I'd wear a condom.
So that you didn't have the child in the first place.
I've got 4 children, and I've got 11 grandchildren. And if my oldest grandson, who's just coming up for 18, I think he's 18 at the end of this month, if he's like, I could end up being a great granddad before too long. So yeah, it's a bit difficult, because I would certainly, if I was to raise a child nowadays, I think I'd still raise them the way that I raise my kids. I raise my kids with a very simple thing. If I have to say something 3 times, on the 4th time you're in trouble, and that was it. So my kids learned that if I said something 3 times, the 4th time they were in trouble, and it would normally involve a slipper. I would like to think that I would raise a child the same way that I raised my old children, to be respectful of their elders, to be good, law-abiding citizens. And I was never abusive with my children, because they very soon learnt that the 3 times rule, and they'd never push it to the 4th. So that was quite good.
I did it was the 3-time thing. It was ask, tell again, but if you got to the 4th, that's when you get your punishment, or
Yep.
whatever it was that something would be taken away, or whatever, early bedtime or something like that. So that's what it was: ask, tell again, and then do whatever it is that you say. Also the internet and social media age. I've got grandchildren who are being raised in the internet and social media age. So the precautions really are, you've got to make sure that you've got whatever program on your computer or their computer or every computer that they can't get through to the social media, for a start, because social media can be really, really tough on children. And when I say children, I'm talking about, minors, under 16s and what have you. Although it can be tough at any age, but children just, it's different. And also, don't give them a mobile phone too bloody early. Parents go, oh, but my 6-year-old, or not 6-year-old, that's a bit young, but my 10-year-old needs one because they come back with their brother after school and stuff. No, they don't need one. We didn't have one.
No.
They don't need one. There really isn't predators on every street corner or paedophiles on every street corner. There's no more than there used to be. It's just we hear about them more because of the media. So although that is a worry, and I know it's a worry, and it is nice to be able to contact your child, don't give them a phone too early. And when you do give them a phone, make sure it is completely restricted so that they can't access something. My grandson accidentally, on purpose, downloaded the Reddit app, funnily enough, onto his phone because he wanted to do something about, it was Fortnite, I think, the game. And the first thing he found was a woman pleasuring herself. And he was traumatized. I'm telling you, he was traumatized. He's still traumatized because he's 13, but he's a young 13. And my daughter was like, well, you shouldn't have been downloading Reddit. Why were you downloading Reddit? You did specifically the thing that I said not to. You'd managed to get around the parental lock or something on it. And he's like, oh, no, I'm not ever going to do it again. It's just like, he was just so, oh my God. He must have had nightmares that night. So
I've got to admit, I don't like the way that my youngest daughter brings her children up.
Yeah.
But they are her children, so I can't interfere. She does. They've all got mobile phones. They've all got tablets. If they haven't got a mobile phone, they've got a tablet, and they're always in a connected world. In fact, whenever they come round here, the first thing she says is, "Granddad, or Dad?" She says, "Dad, what's the Wi-Fi password, please?" Yeah, seriously, and she gives it straight to her children. So I tell her the Wi-Fi password now is broken, and she said, "No, it's not. No, it's not." I said, "Yeah, it's broken." "No, it's not, because you're still on the internet." I said, "Look, it's broken, all right?" And she doesn't say anything else. And then the other day she said to me, "Dad, why don't you change the password?" And I said, "Why?" She said, "Well, what is the password?" And I said, "It's broken." She said, "If you keep telling me it's broken, I want to know what the password is." And I said, "No, that is the password, broken." And then the penny dropped that she'd actually not had the internet every time she'd come round here because she hadn't listened to what I'd said when the password was broken. So, but no, I don't. If I had children now, they would not have a mobile phone or a tablet, or if they had a tablet, one that couldn't connect to the internet until they were of age. And I'm talking about 16, 17, when they were their own age and could when they could afford their own and pay for their own internet, then they would have one. But otherwise, no. And I don't like the way that kids have got to have these latest designer trainers or designer clothing. And also I don't like the way that kids get hundreds of pounds spent on them for Christmas. When they get about 20 or 30 presents. I never had any of that, but like I say, they're not my children, and I'm not bringing them up, so I can't interfere. So I just have to sit back and just have to accept that this is the modern world. That her children have got to have the latest designer stuff, or their
You
life
see,
is over.
I don't agree with that. All what I would say is that it is a very fine balance between um, allowing your children to have certain gadgets and technology, but also at the same time not giving them complete free rein. Because if you deny them what their friends, if you deny them everything that their friends have, then they're going to feel they're just not going to be wise when they use it in the future. They're not going to be sort of smart on them, and also they're going to look back and feel like they didn't. I had a similar type of thing, you know. I didn't have the latest fashions, and I mean, seriously, when I say latest fashions, I did. My mum was giving me like a fiver to buy like a t-shirt and a skirt from like the granny place. I wanted a pair of like funky jeans that my friends were wearing. You know, back then what you'd buy is you'd buy a pair of jeans and then you would like paint all over them yourself to, you know, that was the fashion. But there's a fine line between not giving them everything and not giving them anything at all, if you see what I mean. So I agree with you in some ways, Steve, but also I think 16 is probably too old. And Gay Jock says prohibition doesn't work. Kids are very smart in terms of tech. They might be dumb in humanly and worldly affairs, and that's what I mean. They need to learn how to use it, but they also need to learn how to be responsible with it. And it's up to the parents to limit screen time and tech time, because there are other things out there apart from technology. So, Micky.
Well, I've got an 8-year-old granddaughter. She does have a tablet. She doesn't have a phone. She's not allowed one. She has a tablet. Well, she has a Kindle, Amazon Kindle thing, but it's got parental locks on. She doesn't have a password to buy any apps. She has to go through her parents to buy them. But she's only interested in playing her little games on it anyway. I mean, she's 8 at the end of the day. But I do think it helps them to learn about technology by allowing them to use it at that age.
As long as you're not using it as a babysitter, because a lot of people do that.
It's not that, no. I mean, I have her every Friday. She comes to me every Friday, and she'll bring her tablet, and she'll sit there and play her games. But she's not forced to sit there and play games. She sits there because she plays a lot of learning games, you know. And she'll come to me and ask me how to do so, and we'll sit there together.
Oh yeah.
And I'll go through it, you know, show her how to do it or what have you. And that's helping them to learn. If they don't, I think if they don't learn at an early age to use, well, I mean, a tablet's basically a computer, isn't it? If they don't learn, they're going to be left behind as they get older.
That's what I mean, yeah.
But she won't have a phone until she's at least 12, 13.
Yeah. Then
again, that will be parental restricted. My daughter's quite turned on about. I mean, I've got my grandson who's 17. His phone is now unrestricted, but he's 17 now. You know, so he can do what he likes with it. But yeah.
Yeah.
But that's all I got to say on it, really. Yeah, I think they need a bit of airtime to learn skills for the future.
Yeah. No, I agree. Like I said, you know, cause, when I was at secondary school and we were choosing our GCSEs, we were the first year of GCSEs when O levels were stopped. But when we were choosing what exams we were going to do, and I wanted to do computing and typewriting, like secretarial skills, and I couldn't get secretarial skills. I can't remember why, but computing I got turned down for because there was literally there was one class that could do it, and we only had 5 computers. And my brother, we had a computer at home, and it was BBC B.
Steve's playing again.
Huh?
Steve was playing again.
Oh, I've got the. I see. Read it. So my brother was learning all this stuff from. So what would I have been, about 14? So he would have been. He would have been about 3. But he literally he was wiring things up and doing his own little basic programs and stuff. He knew his stuff, and he could do all the computing and IT and things like that. And when I left school after I had the kids, I then had to put myself through a computer course to learn how to turn the computer on. Open and close programs and documents and stuff. I had to put myself through a course. I had to pay for that to learn it. I'm glad I did, because I loved it. But it was just so it's the same thing. Otherwise they're just going to miss out, and they'll be left behind in knowing, because everything's going to become more and more and more technology, more and more techie. And so just you need to know the basics and around the computers and technology.
Well, I've got my dinner to eat. I've got a nice curry. My partner did a beef curry earlier today, so I'll be eating my beef curry when this is finished.
Right. Well, I'll be round in about half an hour for some curry.
There's only enough for me. Sorry.
I'll eat that. That's fine. You can have the rice.
Okay. No, I'm just having the curry, not the rice. Reheated microwave rice doesn't work. I'm just having the curry. Go on, Micky, carry on. Carry on. You've got 2 minutes.
No, we just said our goodbyes. We're just waiting for you to say your goodbyes.
I did 5 minutes ago.
Right. Switch us off.